All right. We're back. Episode 12, Fields of Friendly Strife podcast. I'm your host, Justin Schaff. Thank you for coming to our show yet again. We've got the OG joining us today, Roderick David from the Homestead. Uh, we are episode 12, Breaking Camp. We are getting near the end here of training camp for the American football side, certainly for the collegiate side and NFL rapidly approaching. We'll talk what that is and looks like the end. We had kickoff over in England for global football. We unfortunately couldn't form a terrace today, but nevertheless, football is back across the pond, and American football is rapidly approaching as games will now become meaningful between the White Lions and their regular season. But enough of my ramble. Let's get on the show here. The man, the myth, the legend, Roderick David. Rod, how we doing, brother?
Good. I'm doing outstanding, and I brought a guest today. This is Elliot. Elliot is going to be much smarter than I am at football someday, and so he said he wanted to join for the podcast today. So hopefully everybody out there is excited as I am to have him.
Oh, I'm excited, Elliot. How we doing, buddy?
Good.
Good? Yeah? How's the weather down there? Is it good? Yeah? We excited to talk some football? No? I get it. We're also trying to get excited about it because it's one of those like weird periods. But Rod and I are here showing up. We're doing it. We're gonna talk, and so are you, Elliot. Okay, we're gonna talk all things American football. All right, sound good?
Sounds good, right?
Sounds good. Love it. Let's hop right into it, shall we? So let's talk NFL, right, Rod? So big announcement for those of us here in Northwest Pennsylvania, looking at the quarterback one decision in Cleveland. What do you make of it? With it's so rude of me to not speak and give Coach Monken and Andrew Berry some credit, but what do you think of the Haslam's decision there for Deshaun Watson being the starter week one?
Yeah, I had some nice back and forth with the ever intelligent, ever thoughtful, ever deep, channel that is the Twitter this week. When I said Deshaun Watson was the guy, I watched every preseason snap from games 1 and 2 for Deshaun and Shadir. And again, while Shadir has certainly made some strides, Deshaun gives them the best chance to win. He looked better, in my opinion, better decisions, better timing. The mistakes that Shadur made are mistakes he's going to continue to make. I thought some of the mistakes that Deshaun made were, again, ones that I think will get cleaned up. Missed a deep ball. That's going to get cleaned up with timing once the regular season comes. A little bit of a timing thing on some comeback routes. Again, that's going to get cleaned up. The argument that, hey, we've seen Deshaun, we know what he is, like, again, yeah, I guess so. He's on the back half of his career. You want to see Shadir. I get that. But Coach Monken, Andrew Berry, they need to win. And Deshaun gives them the best chance to win right now. And I thought it was the best decision based on film. If you want to argue any other reason, good luck. I mean, we know that the NFL is a win-now league. Everybody needs to do it. The Browns need to do it to maintain their job. So, again, I wasn't surprised based off the film, and I think Deshaun gives them the best chance to win.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is why we have Roderick David on the show, because even when the goofball of this Ted Lasso football brand that we're creating here on the Fields of Friendly Strife tries to bait him into the Haslams and their very active ownership in football operations, he still stays true to what the truth is. And it's no surprise that you would. You're 1,000% spot on. If anything, just getting folks wound up because everyone likes to pick on that ownership group in the franchise. You're 1,000% right. The Clemson product was the better one, gives them the chance to win. And, as an organization, when they look at it from a business standpoint, and we're talking ball in terms of between the white lines, but from a business standpoint, if it doesn't materialize in regards to wins and losses and things are rocky, you've still got that top jersey sale for the kid to come off the bench and keep folks excited.
So for me, again, I can't remember if we had the conversation on here. I know I've had it with multiple people that, again, it was my little bit of surprise on the Vikings decision, going Kyler over JJ. It kind of becomes the same thing. If you start Shadir, you're saying we're cutting Deshaun, we're trading Deshaun, and it's Shadir for the year. If you start Deshaun, and he doesn't look good. Again, the arguments, I can't remember who said it, like you start on the road with 2 road games, and then again, depending, he's got 2 weeks to show that, hey, we can go 1-1, 2-0, we can win with this quarterback. If not, it's a fairly easy decision to go ahead and make the switch, but I don't think you can make it, the other way without having, again, much more issues. And again, I thought that was going to be the way it was in Minnesota. Hey, let's start JJ. We can go JJ to Kyler. You can't go Kyler to JJ, in my opinion. So again, I think it's a similar situation, different names in Cleveland with obviously different spots in their careers.
Oh, for sure, defo. But so that was big news here in Northwest Pennsylvania. But then for those of us that are, and of course people are following the sport outside of Northwest Pennsylvania, knowing that news that came out of Cleveland. But just looking at as today's show is titled "Breaking Camp," we're getting close to the end, getting ready for regular season to kick off. Saw a piece from Barnwell, I believe, on ESPN. What teams do you think are poised to make the biggest improvement of the season? Would love to hear from a subject matter expert in you as to what teams you're looking at to make a leap from 25 to 26.
Yeah, I mean, the easy one's the Chiefs, right? I mean, you're getting your franchise quarterback, arguably the best quarterback in the NFL back. That's going to make a little bit of a difference. Arguably the best offensive head coach ever. Again, he certainly could, battle Belichick by the end if this Chiefs team gets back. Again, you got Spags back, got a good defense. So the Chiefs are the easy one for me. I think the Bengals are certainly due for a bounce back. I think they're probably my second candidate. I've got great faith in Duke Tobin, that front office. Against Zach Taylor, you get Joe Burrow back and healthy for a whole season. They've on paper, the Bengals have made moves to be that, again, come preseason time, everything looks good. Now, it hasn't worked out on the film, but if you keep doing that where during this time, again, you take snapshots and you take bank of what's being said now, the Bengals are once again in a spot where, hey, they've made the right stop. Now it's up to execution, which, again, now if you want to put that on coaching staff or the players they're investing, again, it's a big year for Zach Taylor. It's probably a big year for Duke Tobin, though that that ownership group operates just a little bit differently. So again, I think the Bengals are in that group. The Ravens, again, are certainly a candidate. Now, when you change over the coaching staff, that's certainly a big deal, and I think that's probably why I moved them back just a little bit, because again, you've got a first-time head coach, you've got a lot of new pieces in the way things are going to be run there. Again, obviously losing Coach Harbaugh for that was the Ravens for a long time. I mean, that's significant. The Jets, it's hard not to get better. So again, you can point to them as well. The Lions, again, I don't know if I'm buying, I'm selling. I think the Lions have a similar looking year. Part of the top reason, they just in a tough division. They've got multiple teams up there. You're going to get beat up. The style they play. Again, their O-line. Again, what was their calling card a couple of years ago, being big and physical up front? Again, they're working to replace a couple pieces. We're not quite sure what it's going to look like come week one. So again, I'm probably holding on the Lions just a little bit. I do think they're going to probably look better at times. We'll just see if they're sustain it. But again, Chiefs are the easy one for me.
Yeah, defo. And when you mentioned the Bengals too, Vegas I think had something crazy when the schedule first came out, like 13 of their games they were favored, something crazy.
Wow. That tells you something.
Correct, exactly. So I root for Joey B. In typical Shaw fashion, have a bold take of I often will tell folks that if Joe Burrow was the starting quarterback in Kansas City, I don't know if they would have lost a football game yet. With the most brilliant offensive mind that's ever lived, I don't know if they would ever lost a game. And that's nothing against Patty Mahomes. I'm not trying to stir up trouble here, but
but stir it up. I mean, you're not afraid to, and that's why we love you.
Oh, I'm not afraid to take the swings, and sometimes you'll miss, and it's still to be seen on the Kirko swing. But the Joey B one, that's one I like to have lively debate on. So I'm rooting for him and the squad. Love to see him be successful. Agree with all the takes there. So we talk about who's going to make an improvement. Who do we think makes the biggest dip? Having some good success in 25. What's not? How is it not going to be sustainable in the 26? What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, as much as I hate to say it again, I've got some concerns about the Patriots. Again, for all the good that I think Coach Vrabel is, man, there were a lot of distractions, and it is hard to reset come season. Drake May, he's got to look a lot better. He can't look like playoff Drake May, or you can't win every week. Again, we know the bounce of the football. They were on the right side. They were on the right side of a lot of those bounces, and that's how you make the Super Bowl. Just couldn't quite finish it out. Again, the Bears. Again, I think I put the Bears in that Lions category. Again, don't really know. You're going to get some good Caleb Williams. You're going to get some bad Caleb Williams. But who knows? Sean Payton in Denver. Again, that's a good candidate. It's a great head coach. Whether the quarterback, whether they can kind of put it back together and make the run like they did last year. Again, that's a tough one. The Seahawks, again, I think the Seahawks are going to be good again. Again, whether they can make a run, again, it's just about getting hot again at the right time. Again, the Rams are a wild card for me. For all, again, a team that's got a lot of hype, made the right moves. Again, I have concerns about Matt Stafford's elbow. I've had concerns about it the last couple of years. Again, it sounded like he was maybe going to go under Tommy John, a year and a half ago, and yet somehow the elbow has survived. So again, you're one hit, you're one swing away from losing your franchise, and no matter what pieces you put around it. Again, the Rams are one that I'm a little nervous about because again, they're in a tough division, and things could, as good as Sean McVay is, and as good as that roster is that Les Snead's put together, they're a candidate that I'm a little wary of.
Such a great point. Yeah, the fragility there. I know our show we're focused on anti-fragility, but with Matt Stafford, that is definitely something to pay attention to and be cognizant of. Yeah, because gosh, all this hype around their prospect of being Super Bowl bound. There's a delicacy there with the quarterback position. It's totally a good shout. In the vein of the Rams, when's this announcement coming for? One of the all-time great Pittsburgh products in Aaron Donald, another Western PA shout-out.
Yeah,
When's he
come right after cut down time. I mean, that's my full expectations again, and there are some roster mechanics, some money mechanics, some salary cap components that make this a post 53 cut down move. Again, with the way the guarantees work, the way you can work money in. Again, you carry that player through that you want to keep, that is a good quality roster player, and you release them after the fact. Probably teams maybe a little less likely to claim them, so you play that game. But I think something's announced right around that 53-man cut down time. I think he signs his contract right after 53 mans are set, and I think we see Aaron Donald on the field week 1.
Oh yeah, it's those of us here in Western Pennsylvania, and I'm sure across the globe who follow the sport are excited to see him back on the field. I saw some of those videos. I'm like, gosh, that's terrifying. That is him in 95. Oh.
Hopefully we get good Aaron Donald back. I mean, that's again, we remember it has been a minute, and he is a little bit older, right? So again, even if we get a flash of it, if we get some that for even on third downs, I think everybody would be really happy to see it.
Oh, exactly, just for the sake of the game. We'll switch gears then to the games that are played on Saturdays traditionally, college football. Lot of drama ever since now we can pay these guys legally, not in the back door, as Ed Orgeron used to say. It's now through the front door. We now have got players returning their contracts professionally, and courts saying that you are eligible to play. What do you make of all this? Last I checked, Big Ten said no. SEC's got a letter that they're saying no, which is ironic because of LSU and what lanes kicked up. ACC and Big 12 met today. I haven't seen anything that they've agreed to it, but it's trending that way. And Notre Dame, the All-Star Independent, has said no. But again, what do you make of all this? Just more chaos in college football?
Yeah, I mean, It looks like it's going to be a 1-year deal. It looks like this shouldn't affect anything. Now, again, something else will come up, something else, some other way to, skirt the rules or try to get back. Again, it's bad for football that a guy could go through the pre-draft process, go play in preseason games, and come back to college. Again, we've kind of seen it on the basketball side, which again, it's kind of absurd seeing some of those stories, and it's bad for the game. It's bad for development. It's bad for college rosters. Bad for roster management, and it's hard to put it on the players because, again, had they known this information, you can certainly make the argument these guys would have already made the decision to enter the portal and be back on college rosters. Now, again, that's also life. Again, we get new information, and maybe we would have changed decisions. You made the decision, you went through the pre-draft process. Again, I don't want to see him back on college rosters. There are other avenues. Go play in the CFL. Go play in the UFL. That's a perfect avenue for these guys. Get film. Keep developing. Again, I commend these conferences for stepping up and making these rulings. Now, again, is LSU already working on their court order to send to the conference to say, hey, no, we're going to do this. Like, go ahead and stop us. Like, again, that's a whole nother thing. And again, conference alignment, again, maybe a little bit more powerful than what the NCAA is, hopefully. But again, all around, it's just not a good thing. And hopefully it's just a 1-year deal.
Yeah, hopefully. At some point, there's just got to be unification, alignment across the board. We already saw this starting to take shape where, the conferences are becoming their own entities. They always have been, right? But there is no centralized governing body. The NCAA has really nothing, has no meat behind it at all anymore. And just for the sake of the sport, you hope it can all come together. Just knew that was a talking point. But as we're heading into 26, and we've seen the shifting landscape of college football, some non-traditional football power schools have emerged, as we saw last year with another. Can just keep giving these Western PA shout-outs, right? Curt Cignetti, taking the Hoosiers all the way 16-0. Indiana not being a traditional college football powerhouse. Love what Clark Lee's doing there in Vanderbilt. Are we going to see some of these sides remain competitive? And if so, are there going to be any others that you think will be joining them in the future as having been previously non-traditional college football powerhouses, but are finding themselves in college football playoffs and, in Indiana's case, winning it all?
Yeah. So again, Indiana, are they going to remain competitive? Yes. Are they going to be vying for a Big Ten championship this year? I don't know. That's going to be pushing it. Again, I think Ohio State's going to come out with something to prove. Michigan's going to be improved a little bit. Obviously, you've got schools in Ann Arbor. You've got Penn State. That's, I think, going to be much improved. It's going to be a tough road for Indiana to stay as good as they have the last 2 years. Now, competitive, certainly. This is not going to be a 500 Indiana team by any stretch. I think this is still probably a 9-10 win team. But again, certainly a step back. Vanderbilt, the same thing. Like, you're competing in the SEC at an academic school, and as good as Clark Lee is, as magical as they were this last year with Diego, and that's a tough thing to repeat in the SEC. So I think they take a step back. Again, I think they could be in line for that 7 to 8 win season just because of how brutal that schedule can be. Again, you talk about your traditional powers. I think LSU could be really tough this year. Man, I think Lane Kiffin is going to have that thing humming. Our podcast we recorded today, he's going to be on next week, that I think it would be outstanding for college football, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I mean, to see Nebraska back as again, competing for a Big Ten championship. Pat Stewart was on with us today, their GM with Matt Rule. And again, he talked about it on the podcast. Every recruit that comes in, all it is stories about how good Nebraska was. And again, that you have to overcome that help. That was Alabama pre-Nick Saban. And again, all you heard about was Bear Bryant and, well, what happened lately. And again, to see Nebraska as a blue blood would be outstanding for college football. I think it would be great. Again, we've had the USC conversation. I'm not buying it. Again, USC being really good, that's good for college football. I think Clemson's going to get back to what we expect of them Dobb. I think Florida State again is going to get back there with Coach Norvell, outstanding coach there. And then the new one. I think a school like SMU is going to be pushed. I know they're made the playoff. Whether they deserved it or not, that's a whole debate. But again, they're putting together a roster and they've kind of got a thing going that is pretty cool there. So I think they could be one of them. But again, my hope, and again, it is a little bit of hope. It's a little bit of heart, along with my head. Nebraska would be the outstanding school to get back in this mix.
Oh, right there with you, brother. I often would say, like, and just again, typical Schaff, just kicking up dust, not intentional, just the train of thought here is I always would say if I'm the number one recruit, and this is long before any of the pages of some I'd say back in the day, like if I had one school to go to, 5-star recruit, number one recruit, I'm quarterback, one place to go, University of Nebraska. Here's why. They are the only show in town for the entire state. Every other state is having to share the limelight. Yeah. Iowa's having to share limelight with Iowa State. Mississippi with Ole Miss, Mississippi State, you name it. There's always some sort of divide. And then if you got a pro team, Nebraska, that state, all it has is the Cornhusker football. And no slight against Creighton, not taking anything away from the Blue Jays, right? But just in terms of what this sport is in the country, it's American, it's football. And the Cornhuskers, to me, you go there, you are the state of Nebraska.
If you can be the quarterback, the player, the guy that gets into Heisman conversations, that brings Nebraska back to what, again, you won't buy a meal, you won't pay for a car. Like, again, the recruit that does that is going to, he's going to be able to run for Congress or Senate or governor in a couple of years. Because, again, that is the way that state is. They are hungry for football. I think Coach Rule's the right guy. I think Pat is outstanding in his role as a GM. Man, I'm pulling for him.
You and me both, and really good people from Nebraska too, by the way.
All great people.
Great people. All right. Watching any of the games this weekend before we let you go? Are any of you going to be tuning into? I think I saw Coach Belichick's side squaring off against TCU. San Jose State, SC caught my attention, and still rooting for Captain Andrew Luck, one of my favorite Twitter handles that ever existed. And the Cardinal, I'd love to see them. Any games catch your attention? You tuning in?
I am old. I've got a 3-month-old. I struggle to stay up for those 10 o'clock kickoff games. I'll catch them later. I'm excited about this North Carolina TCU game. Again, I have long been a defender of Coach Belichick. It has been a mess in North Carolina. You cannot debate that. But you can also not take away what his resume is at the NFL level, the greatest NFL head coach, in my opinion. It's been ugly. Again, I can't say that it's been ugly. Again, what's happening with Michael Lombardi being out, again, it's ugly. I'm pulling for North Carolina. It's an hour and a half from where I'm living now, the Homestead. It's my home state. But again, I'm pulling for Coach Belichick to show the reason that he is who he is. Again, pulling for the Tar Heels. I want to see them come out and look like a Belichick coach team. Again, whether they can do it against TCU, it got ugly last year. A lot of roster turnover. A lot of, it's hard to win in North Carolina. But I'm going to be tuning into that one. I'm excited to see that one to kick off the year. And what should be week one, I refuse to, week zero is week zero. It's week one. Now let's just call it what it is, to kick off the year.
Yeah, you got it. Exactly. And I'm with you on Coach Belichick. It just, to me, needs to be right in the sport. Just brilliant mind, best in-game adjuster. It would be so great to see there be such technical and tactical execution take place on Saturdays, just to remind folks what excellence is. It's not just a matter of winning based on purely having the most height, weight, speed, physical advantages, like the actual tactical advantages and technical execution with technique and all that would be great to see. So awesome. Rod, thanks for coming by. All my best to the family. For those that tune in for the first time and those that keep coming back, just a reminder, where can they find you? Where can they get in touch with all things Roderick David?
Yeah. My Twitter handle @RightStepADV down there at the bottom. That's where I'm going to post everything. Again, Scouting the League is my podcast. Today, our conversation with Eric Galko, the executive director of player personnel, football ops. He runs the Shriners Children's East-West Bowl. Got a new name this year. Does an outstanding job. Eric has really turned that game around last week. Of course, we had Drew with the Senior Bowl. Already previewed next week with Pat Stewart of Nebraska. So check that out. The Scouting the League podcast. It's on YouTube. YouTube if you want the video. Apple Podcast, Spotify, and then my website RSA Football has all my football stuff. So find me anywhere those spots.
Awesome. Thanks, Rod, for coming by. As always, you the man, brother. Again,
Awesome.
All the best to the fam. We'll talk soon, brother. You know it's coming. You know what I'm about to say. Just pure gold. He's the best. The best. He really is. Can't thank him enough. We're trying to get queued up Mark Delgarian to come back on the show so we can, one, give Rod a breather. Bless him. His dedication and commitment to this is incredible and so appreciated. But we'll be coming up on some overseas American football with the NFL kicking off in Australia, so it'll be fun to kind of get his take there. And then there also is college football to be played over in the UK this September, so keen to get his intake or his perspective, his takes. Sorry about that. Nevertheless, thanks for stopping by. As always, appreciate everyone and their support of the Fields of Friendly Strife podcast. We will see you again next week. God bless. Cheers.